Hi everyone, my name is Virlian Liebbi Sevrianto and my student ID number is 33240110. And right now, I would like to present about present perfect tense and simple past tense. These two tenses are very important in English because we use them in daily conversation. However, many learners still find it difficult to understand the difference between them. Let's start the first topic, which is present perfect tense. What is present perfect tense? Present perfect tense is used to talk about actions or situations that happened in the past but still have a connection to the present. In this tense, the exact time of the action is usually not important or not mentioned. The focus is more on the experience, result, or continuation of the action until now. For example, I have lived in Depok since 2006. The sentence means the person started living in Depok in 2006 and still lives there now. Another example is Abel has played the guitar since he was young. This means Abel started playing the guitar in the past and continues until now. So, present perfect tense connects the past with the present. Present perfect tense has several important functions. Number 1, action that started in the past and continue to the present. The example, she's lived here for a while now. This means she started living there in the past and still lives there today. Number 2, when the time period has not yet finished. The example, they haven't eaten much yet. The time period is still continuing, maybe tonight or today. Number 3, something that happened in the past but is relevant in the present. The garden looks ugly because the tulips haven't grown yet. The result can still be seen in the present. Number 4, life experience without specifying when they happened. They have climbed several mountains. The sentence focuses on the experience, not the time. Number 5, actions that happen in the very recent past, like we have just arrived at the hospital. These uses are very common in daily English conversation. So, present perfect often emphasizes the effect or the result that still exists now. Now, let's discuss about the structure of present perfect tense. In general, we use subject plus have or has plus past participle or verb 3. Have for I, you, we, and they, because these subjects are not third person singular. Has for he, she, and it, because they are called third person singular subjects. In English grammar, singular third person subjects usually change the form of the verb in the present tense. That's why we use has instead of have. Then I will explain about the formula. We have affirmative, its subject plus to have plus past participle. For the example, she has visited. She is the subject, has is the auxiliary verb, and visited is a verb 3 or the past participle. This is for the negative, its subject plus to have plus not plus past participle. The negative form is used to say that something has not happened. This means the action did not happen. This is the interrogative one, to have plus subject plus past participle. Interrogative sentences are used to ask questions. The sentence asks whether the action has happened or not. In the present perfect tense, we use past participles, also known as verb 3. There are two types of past participles. Number one is regular verbs. Regular verbs add ed to the base verb, like play into played, visit into visited. Number two is irregular verbs. Irregular verbs do not follow fixed patterns and must be memorized, like go into gone and eat into eaten. Present perfect tense usually use several common time expressions like already, just, yet, ever, never, since, and for. These expressions help show duration, experience, or recent action. Now let's look at some examples of present perfect tense in more detail. These examples will help us understand how present perfect is used in different situations. Number one, our guests have arrived at the hotel. Our guest is the subject, have is auxiliary verb, arrive is verb 3 from arrive. This sentence means the guests arrived recently, but the exact time is not mentioned, and the result is still important now because they are probably still at the hotel. Number two, I have come to apologize to you. I is the subject, have is the auxiliary verb, come is verb 3 from come. The sentence shows an action connected to the present situation. The speaker came earlier and the reason for coming is still relevant now, which is to apologize. Number 3, my heart has suffered from loneliness. My heart is the subject. Has is used because the subject is singular. Suffered is verb 3 from suffer. The sentence describes an emotional condition that started in the past and still affects the speaker now. The loneliness is not just a finished event in the past, but something that has had a continuing impact. Number 4, the government has announced new economic policies this week. The government is the subject, has is the auxiliary verb, announce is the verb 3 from announce. The press this week is important because the week has not finished yet. The announcement happened in the past, but it is still relevant until now because people are still reacting to the policies. Now let's move to the simple past tense. What is simple past tense? Simple past tense is used to describe action or events that happen and finish at a specific time in the past. The exact time is usually mentioned. For example, she ran to school yesterday. They went to Bromo last year. These actions are completely finished and have no connection to the present. The general structure for simple past tense is subject plus verb 2 plus object. Subject is the person, animal, or thing that performs the action. Verb 2 is the past form of the verb, and the object receives the action of the verb. Formula of simple past tense. Simple past tense has 3 forms. Number 1 is the affirmative, subject plus verb 2. The negative is subject plus did not plus verb 1. The interrogative is did plus subject plus verb 1. Notice that after did we use verb 1, not verb 2. The reason is because the word did already shows that the sentence is in the past tense. So after using did, the main verb must return to its base form, which is verb 1. Uses of simple past. Number 1, Finish action in the past. We use simple past to describe actions that happened and were completed at a specific time in the past. So, when the time is specific and the action is already finished, we use simple past. Number 2, past habits. Simple past can also describe habits or routines that someone regularly did in the past but no longer does now. Number 3, sequential events in the stories. Simple past is commonly used in storytelling because it helps describe events in chronological order. All the actions happen one after another in the past. Now let's discuss about time expression in the simple past tense. There are 3 different categories. Time expressions are words that show when an action happened. They help us identify that the event happened in the past and is already finished. Time expressions are important because they help listeners or readers understand when the action happened. Now, let's look at some examples of simple past tense. Number 1, Conrad cooked a tasty dinner yesterday. In the sentence, Conrad is the subject, cook is the verb to from cook, a tasty dinner is the object. Yesterday is the time expressions. The word yesterday clearly shows that the action happened in the past and is already finished. Number 2, I wrote an email to my sister. In the sentence, I is the subject, wrote is the verb to from write, an email is the object. The verb wrote is an irregular verb because it does not simply add ed. Even though the exact time is not mentioned, the action is still considered complete. Number 3, Gatsby loved Daisy with great devotion. In the sentence, Gatsby is the subject, love is the verb to from love, Daisy is the object. The sentence describes a feeling or relationship that existed in the past. Simple past is used because the story is being retold as a completed event. Number 4, the little prince visited many strange planets. In the sentence, the little prince is the subject, visited is the verb to from visit, many strange planets is the object. The sentence describes a sequence of adventures that happen in the story. The action is fully completed in the past, so simple past tense is used. The difference between present perfect tense and simple past tense. Present perfect tense, the time of the event is not mentioned. Connection to the present is still relevant and has an effect now. Focus on the sentence is in what has happened and its result. Meanwhile, the simple past, the time is specific and noun, connection to the present noun, and the focus of the sentence is when something happened. In conclusion, the simple past tense and present perfect tense are both important in English. They have different functions and meanings. The simple past is used when we know exactly when something happened and finished at a specific time in the past. Meanwhile, the present perfect tense is used for actions that are connected to the present and the time is not important. Understanding the difference between these two tenses helps us communicate more clearly and use English more naturally and confidently. Number 1, the tense aspect system. The correct sentence is, last week, Rina attended a grammar class where the lecturer explained the tense aspect system in detail. He said that tense showed time, while aspect described how an action happened. Rina had read the material before she came to class, but she still did not understand everything clearly. While the lecturer was talking, some students were asking questions and others were taking notes. By the end of the session, lecturer had given many examples and Rina felt more confident, although she was still confused about some parts of the lesson. Because of the press last week shows the event happened in the past, so the verb must be in the past form. That's why we use attended and explain it in line 1. For line 2, said, showed, described, and happened is verb 2. Even though the line 2 tells a fact, we still use the simple past tense because this keeps the tense consistent. In line 3, because the subject is singular, which is Rina, we use had and she come to class is not correct. We use verb 2, so it's came. And did shows past tense, so the main verb return to the best form, which is understand. In line 3, we supposed to use talking instead of talk because after was we must use verb plus in. And students and others is plural subjects, so we use were instead of was. For line 4, the lecturer had given. We use had and given because after had, the verb 3 is needed, not the verb 2. And Rina felt more confident, although she was still confused about some part of the lesson. Is grammatically right or correct, because the event happened in the past and confused an adjective to describe her feeling. Number 2, progressive aspect. The correct sentence is yesterday Andy was sitting in the classroom while the lecturer was explaining the progressive aspect. The lecturer said that this aspect was used to describe actions that were happening now or at the moment of speaking. While Andy was listening, his friends were talking and were not paying attention. One student said that he was not understanding the lessons because he did not focus. The lecturer was giving more examples and was trying to make the explanation clearer. But some students were still confused about the topic because is explaining is present progressive, so we use was explaining because it's clear that yesterday is past form. We use said because the sentence tells a past event, so the verb must be in verb 2. We use was and were because the actions is in the past, so we need past tense from is. Because the action is happened yesterday, instead of while Andy is listening, we use while Andy was listening because was listening is past continuous. And friends is plural, so we use were. We use said because it's verb 2, and we use was because the sentence talk about the student's condition in the past, so is changes to was. And also after did not, we use focus instead of focusing because after did not, we always use verb 1, not verb 2. The lecturer was giving more examples and was trying to make the explanation clearer. Afterwards, we need verb ing and the event happened in the past, so is changes to was. But some students were still confused about the topic. Are should become were because the story is in the past, and confused should become confused because it is an adjective describing feelings. Number 3 is the perfect aspect. The correct sentence is Siti was studying the perfect aspect for her grammar exam last night. She had finished her homework before she went to sleep, but she still felt confused about some examples. Her lecturer has explained this topic many times, yet Siti did not understand it completely. She said that she has seen similar sentences in her textbook, but she still did not know how to use them correctly. By the time she finished studying, she has made some progress, although she has not fully understood the lesson. The phrase last night shows that the event happened in the past, so I use was because it's past progressive tense. In line 2, had finished, went, and felt. She had is the action happened before another action in the past, so use past perfect tense. Finish to finish and go to when because it's verb 2. In line 3, explain it and did not understand. After has, we must use verb 3, so it's explain it. And after did not, we'll always use verb 1, so it's understand instead of understood. In line 4, I use has and seen because the subject is she and we use has, and the seen is verb 3. For the last line, I use made instead of make because it's verb 3, and I use understood after has not because we use verb 3 not verb 1. Number 4, perfect progressive aspect. The correct sentence is this week, Budi has been studying the perfect progressive aspect in his class. His lecturer has been explaining the topic since Monday, but Budi still does not understand it well. He has been trying to complete the exercise for hours, but he is not getting the correct answers. Yesterday, he said that he had been working on the same task all day, but he still could not solve it. The lecturer has been giving more explanations and has been encouraging the students to practice more so they can improve their understanding over time. In line 1, I use has been studying because Budi is a singular subject, so it should use has, not have. Study is verb 1, while the formula requires a verb plus in form, so it should has been studying. For the line 2, his lecturer is singular, so it should choose has instead of have. And explain should become explaining because the formula requires verb plus in. Budi still does not understand. I use does because Budi is singular. And for try, it should be has been trying because the present perfect progressive use verb ing instead of he has been. Work, we use he has been working because the formula. For the but he still could not solve it. After modal verbs, we always use verb 1, so it should be solved, not solved. For the last line, has been giving more explanations. Actually, grammatically, the sentence is already correct, but because the topic is specifically about present perfect progressive, it would be more suitable to change it into has been and plus verb ing for the explanations. Because the lecturer gave more than one explanation, so I use explanations for the less so they can improve. Because after modal verb like can, we use verb 1, not the verb plus ing. That's all from me. Thank you everyone for listening to my presentation.